Department of Labor decided to pause operations at the Job Corps. Yep. Right after Leavett said that, we're going to focus on trades and all these things and definitely pour money into that. We're absolutely kicking students out of Job Corps. Now, if you know, there was something saying that they had until June 30th to kind of figure out what was getting ready to happen, and they bumped that shit up to June 2nd. So basically, students were scrambling, programs were scrambling to figure out what to do with their students, especially the students that are coming from unhoused situations. So now they're told to report to a counselor so they can try to explore some options as to what to do with these students. Other students were told that, their parents had to come pick them up. And it's just like, what are parents supposed to do? One mom was saying that, she's going to have to cancel her surgery because she's like, I got to go figure out what I have to do with my child because we had a plan and now that plan is no longer. And if you know, Job Corps handles situations of students from the ages of 16 to about 24. Now, you have Lori Chavez, the labor secretary, saying that, the program no longer achieves the intended outcomes that students deserve. And she, of course, cites that she has some complicated numbers that are, just like, oh, all of these incidences and everything. Yes, incidences happen everywhere because look at schools and the mass unalivings that happen there. But here we are. But let's not say anything about that because, they're shutting them shits down left and right. Look at Texas when they shut down about 5 of them. Parents all distraught talking about they had bought houses in them districts, and it's craziness. Now, you know that Job Corps was established in the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964. So this has been around since like some of our parents were like little kids. And as someone who's had relatives work at these facilities to help these students, it's really sad. It is, what are we supposed to do with these students who are trying to use another avenue to better themselves, to absolutely, be productive citizens in this society. And now the one thing that was providing them with, the mentorship, the classes, everything that they needed to absolutely go down the right path is taken. And it's just so interesting because Congress absolutely appropriated funding for this absolute particular program because there's squawks from both sides of the aisle right now in regards to this. But of course, they are saving that money for those tax cuts for the rich because, they must need another yacht. They must need, another something else that they don't need all of this money for. By all means, let's tell you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps while we continue to cut your. So I don't know what the solution is going to be because a lot of community leaders, a lot of churches, a lot of, people are trying to step up to try to help some of these students try to figure out something because how are we going to keep them on the right track? This right here, of course, seems very coincidental because, you're going to push people to a point where they don't have any choices. They don't have any options. They don't have any ways to better themselves. Even though you're trying to say, oh, well, there's things available to help them better themselves. There's not. Just like they're saying all these jobs are available. They aren't. Um, it's very interesting to see that this is what we are deciding to do. Of course, picking on those who are absolutely striving to do better. So I will say this. If you are in the mechanics field, the welding field, any trade field, and you have time, even if it's one student that's helped, consider doing an apprenticeship. Consider doing some type of mentoring or something to kind of try to combat some of this so that they can try to figure out as less students as possible that they have to help. This would be our time. And I mean, y'all, I don't know. America's not a real place. And here we are, like I said, every day, silver cap kid energy because we got to touch some shit that don't belong to us.